What's going on, podcast people? Welcome to Got Good. Ah, man, sorry, y'all. Just waking up. Welcome to What's Good with Gil and Larry. This is our September 28th edition. Um, Fortunately or unfortunately, my partner's not here right now. He had just got married last weekend, so congratulations to Gil and his wife married. And I'm hoping they're enjoying their honeymoon vacation. Um, so I said, we gotta keep the show going, and it's a lot of interesting topics that came up in today's sports world this week. So I want to start off first, man, by the big trade. If you're a basketball fan, I definitely want to talk about the big trade that went on with Dame Lillard, big Dime Dillard going all over the Milwaukee Bucks. I know that's not a destination that he probably wanted to go to, but Milwaukee is definitely a title contender with him over there. Um, yeah, you got Giannis. I like Drew Holiday there, but you definitely need a dynamic scorer who's going to turn out Dame Dollar, especially at this point in his career. I know he wants to chip. Miami would have been a lovely destination, especially with that type of team that Spoelstra got down there. So it's a lot of question marks because we still don't even know who's going to be coaching Milwaukee this year and how they're going to look. So it's a lot of questions, man. But they're definitely going to be a contender. I could tell you that much. Even with Giannis on the team, you're a contender, and you give them another 30 plus score, maybe 25, 30 points a game with them assists and a big time score. So you don't have to take on all the pressure. This is going to be a dynamic season, I believe, for Milwaukee. And I'm curious to see where Drew Holiday is going to go because I know some teams that's in contention for him. It's going to be some playoff type teams. So I'm definitely curious about that. Yeah, man. But just thinking about where this league is going now with all these blockbuster trades and everything, and how the league is panning out. It's a couple people I'm looking to see. Wembanyama, obviously in San Antonio, see how his rookie season is going to be. Obviously, you're coming over to the NBA, so it's a different breed of athletes you're going to be going against. It's a lot of storylines. Can LeBron, will this be the year LeBron gets it done? Because they're definitely putting some pieces together. Is that Warriors dynasty with them having Chris Paul? Are they going to be able to do something this year? So it's a big question. It's a lot of question marks out there. But like I said, man, it's going to be a very interesting year this year. I'm looking forward to the NBA. I'm definitely looking forward to the NBA. But and moving forward, now we got baseball coming in. The playoffs is starting to round about, and the picture's starting to form. I think all the teams have made it so far. I know the East is set with the Phillies, and I believe the East is set because you got the Phillies, you got Atlanta, obviously, you got the Dodgers, you got Milwaukee coming out their division. So you got some pieces, man. It's gonna be interesting with the baseball. And then the AL, I'm glad to see Baltimore back up. I'm a Yankees fan, so it hurts me to see that my Yankees didn't make it this year. And it goes to show you, man, big money rosters is not always getting it done. The Dodgers is getting it done obviously with the money they spent, but they also got people that, I always say when you're trying to win a championship in baseball, you need home run hitters, but you also need spot hitters. You need people to get you on bases. That's why I think Atlanta is such a dangerous team because you got Mr. Ron O'Connor who done made his own club. He went, forget 40-40, he made 40-70. That's crazy. That shows the evolution of baseball, man. This man made a 40-70 club. So I believe that's going to be like the new norm because, as you know, the game is always evolving. The game is always evolving, man. And it's a beautiful thing to see that baseball is evolving the way it came, man. Because I know at one point in time, they try to keep it pretty much like a white man's game. No disrespect to the traditionalists, but they fought so hard to keep the Negro League out of the NLB. But now look at it, it's international because you got more Latin brothers that's playing baseball than anybody. I think they outnumbered Caucasian brothers now. So it's good to see that the world's evolving. Same thing that happened with basketball. The world's evolving. Your top players are international. They're not even American. So it's good to see that the world is starting to catch up, and America's catching up with the world. So that's a beautiful thing. I still think that Houston is solid once they make it. I mean, they're solid. You always got to worry about Houston. I think, like I said, the Dodgers is going to be there. Philly's got a roster. I don't know if they're gonna go far. Not hating on Philly, but I don't know if they got a big enough roster to go deep in the playoffs this year. It's hard to repeat, man. It's hard to go back to a chip back to back, you know. And that being said, man, I want to I'm kind of skimming through this for y'all because a lot of sports entertainment I want to kind of talk about tonight. I want to keep it kind of brief but to the point. Um, I guess my next thing, man, is the talk of the town, man. Coach Prime, man. We can't get around it, man. Yeah, they took a hell of a defeat in Oregon. Um, that's suspected, man. I mean, he doesn't have that type of top 5 roster, top 10 roster, man. We all knew it. He's overachieving already. They won one game last year, so any game over one that you won is impressive. To be 3-1, I mean, he knocked them out the rankings because of the beatdown that Oregon gave them, but you're missing your number one player in Travis Hunter. It's a hard environment for anybody to go and play Oregon. They are a seasoned team. They have a 5th-year starter. They have weapons all over the board. And I just think that time, you get coaches could give up. You give a motivational speeches. You could try to amp your team up. You try to boost your team. You try to get them focused in the game. But I think at that point in time, man, it was one of the things that the team lost focus, man. I don't think they could play a worse game than what they played. The effort wasn't there. They were missing tackles. They beat themselves. So by the time when you in football, especially when you go to a hostile environment, you got to play the perfect game. Like when they played TCU, they played the perfect game. They didn't have penalties. When they went to Oregon, they played a sloppy game. And you can't afford to play a sloppy game when you lack in certain positions, especially on the defensive side, because there was a lot of missed tackles, a lot of sloppy tackling. So the question now is, you took your loss. Now, did they break your spirit with that loss? Or are you going to find the dog in you? You're coming home, you're playing one of the best teams in the nation, top 5 team in the nation, USC. It's going to be a hell of a challenge. Now, do you let these dudes come in your house, beat you down, break your spirit, and now the hype train, as they say, the hype train is all over now. Because you're defined on how you bounce back from a loss, not the loss itself, but how you bounce back from it. So we're gonna see how Coach's Prime is really built, man. I know he's gonna have them focused and hopefully ready to play. But on the other side of that ball, you're going against the leading Heisman Trophy winner. He got all types of studs and dogs on our offensive side of the equation, and then you got the defense is crazy. So it's going to be a very, very daunting task. But think about it: if they could beat or even contend with USC, it says a lot about their program. Even if they was to lose this game, which is a high probability they're going to lose because it's just the fact of just the talent. It's just a disparity of talent, right? But it'd be amazing if they are able to find that dog in them, put the perfect game together, and beat them. Now, if they beat them, hey, man, now you got something. Now you really got something to talk about. Because like they said, man, they looking for Prime. The naysayers, the doubters, is hoping this man lose in all aspects of the game because he is who he is. But Rome was not built overnight. And once again, this program is overachieving. Nobody expected him to be in this position this year. So even the fact that we're even talking about him in this light is kudos to Coach Prime and what he's doing over there. I believe he's going to get his program built. He did the same thing in Jackson State. He had to build it. But by the time he got to his 3rd or 4th year, man, he had a program. So it takes time to build programs, what I'm saying. When Nick Saban first went to Alabama, from the failing in Miami, right? He had to build the program. Now we talk about Alabama as the powerhouse, the top school, and the college, collegiate level and all that. But it wasn't always that. Obviously, that's how he got the job. And it took him time to build that. It took him time to get the players to build a program he knew he could build. Same with Coach Prime, man. So just like you said, man, you better get him now. You better get him now. Because in the future, you ain't going to have that opportunity. I promise you're not going to have the opportunity. Oh, man. Moving forward, man. I want to talk about this big boxing matches coming on this week, man. You got Canelo versus Charlo. We here this weekend, September 30th. The talk is over. We already know Canelo's resume. It's stacked up. He done fought the best of the best, and his only losses it came to who? Floyd Mayweather and the Russian boy. What's the Russian boy? He just man, what's the Russian boy that beat him up? Um, what is the is Vladimir? Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a brain freeze right now, man. It's the boy. The super meta heavyweight that he fought. It was It's gonna come to me when I think about it, y'all. But y'all know the two losses. If you follow boxing, you know the two losses. Bivol, my fault. It was Bivol. He lost to Bivol, but he stepped up and weight to fight Bivol. So now you got the same challenge as Charlo. Charlo's going to have to step up and fight. Which, if his power carries up, like you said, most people that go on to fight Canelo, man, he got to me because he already got their heart. He already got their heart. They respect him too much. So if this young lion goes there, which I believe he will be, totally focused. It's gonna be a fight. In my opinion, it's gonna be a fight, man. I don't see him just walking them down. I believe Charlo has the ability in the boxing IQ, to take it definitely the distance. And if his power comes up with him, it's gonna be a fight. It's definitely gonna be a fight. But once again, he is going against a technician. He's going against one of the best ones that's doing it. He is going against Mr. Boxing, the face of boxing. The hero of Mexico. So he's up against a huge challenge, but can he beat him? I mean, hey, to me, I think it's a 50-50 fight, especially the fact that Canelo is getting older and he's fighting a younger fighter who's not afraid of him, who's going to go in there, who believe that he can win, who understands that he's building a legacy. So, it's going to be very, very interesting fight. Styles make fights, obviously. So I'm curious to see how this fight is going to go. I said before, I think it's a 50-50 fight. At this point, you got to kind of give it the edge to Canelo because that is his weight. And he's comfortable at that weight, and we got to see if the power is going to come up with Charlo, and if he's able to take the punches that Canelo is going to dish out, so it's going to be a very interesting fight, man, in my opinion. And man, moving forward, man, I got to get to this. I got to get to these football games, man. I got to get to this NFL, man, because we in this NFL, man, and if the whole world saw what I saw, jeez Louise, man. 70 points? How does a football team give up 70 points? How does an NFL defense give up 70 points? Yes, I'm talking about the Broncos. I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins. I'm talking about Sean Payton coming in and supposed to be the quarterback whisperer and all this other stuff. In my opinion, man, I mean, hey, I'm going the same way with Prime. It might take a couple of years. Who knows, for him to build this program and get it right back up to where we know Denver to be. But I'm saying last year, at least they were a top 5 defense. You know what I mean? Here you got this offensive minded coach that comes in here, and it's bad enough that your offense ain't even clicking. But now you're giving up 70 points to an NFL team. That's terrible, man. Disastrous, right? My opinion, and this is my personal opinion, I think when you retire, man, you retire for a reason, man. You retire for a reason, man. It's a different era, man. And I think that Mike McDaniel showed him what kind of era you in. It's no more than old school football, man. We're not in the era no more, man. We're in the high power offenses. We're in these young-minded gurus is out here because now it's their chance. It's their time to shine. You old dudes had your chance, man. Should have stayed in the booth. Should have analyzed. Should have did what you were doing. You shouldn't jump down here in this new age, man. And they show you that your style is not working. So you got to make the adjustment. You can blame a lot of people. When you lose 70-20, the whole team is to blame. You can blame Russell. You can definitely going to blame the defense, the defensive coordinator, because at one point in time, it's like they just gave up. As an NFL team, how you going to give up 70 points? And I'm not taking nothing from Miami. Miami's explosive, especially with Toya and he's healthy. They're explosive. But 70 points to an NFL squad, it's unheard of, man. It's like a college game, So I don't know, man. I mean, they got Chicago this week. It's a doable win. It's a winnable game. If they don't win this week, man, it's looking rough for them. So I don't know about that, but Miami definitely raised some eyebrows. It's gonna be interesting this week, man. Some interesting games, and I get to that later about the rest of the slate. But then I'm gonna talk about my disappointed boys, which once again I don't sip the juice, man. I'm a Cowboy fan, but I don't sip the juice. I definitely don't sip the juice, man. It's crazy because I told people, I said one thing about the Cowboys is we're going to go as far as Dak Prescott, and now Mike McCarthy wants to call the plays. Okay, we went to Arizona, dropped the dud. All right, our defense, gave up a lot of yards on the ground, and that was a game that we need our offense to kind of carry us. We've been leaning on the defense for the last couple of weeks, and this was the one game that we need our offense to step up, start punching some points in the red zone, match them touchdown for touchdown. And what happened? We failed. So it's hard for me to be Super Bowl bound where we don't beat up on teams that we supposed to beat on. And yes, the Cardinals did play the rest of our division tough. They could have beat Washington and the Giants, but let's be honest, we're the top dogs along with the Eagles of our division. So there's no way in hell that we're supposed to lose to the Cardinals. But then again, that's Dallas for you. We overachieve. We don't play up to the level of the competition. You're supposed to put the foot on these guys. There's no way, heck, that we're supposed to go in Arizona as 12.5-point favorites and we lose by 12. That's retarded. That's retarded. You see what San Fran did? They handled business. They handled business. Giants went there. They handled business. They got them up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why I can't put us in that top tier. Yes, we're going to be probably top, probably say top 18. We'll make the playoffs. We'll be a top 18. But in my opinion, you got to respect what the Eagles, the Chiefs, I think it was Cleveland's looking good right now. I don't know about top 5 team, but they definitely looking good. You got the Buffalo, Miami obviously is going to be there. Another disappointing loss is Baltimore. But then again, you got to think the Colts. One, Baltimore had a lot of injuries. And two, the Colts defense isn't that bad this year. As we can see, every team they played, they pretty much have been in it. They have a decent pass rush. On the back end, they're not getting burnt. So I think the loss to the Colts wasn't as bad as the loss of us to the Cardinals, but a loss is a loss, right? And then you look at teams like, Cleveland, Pittsburgh started to come on a little bit. Obviously they play the Raiders, which is not a really good barometer to measure any team on, but still, you beat who's in front of you, man. So I said before that whole division is going to be tough. Cincinnati got their dub. Baltimore took the L. And you got Cleveland and you got Pittsburgh sit on top of that division. So along with Baltimore, they both 2-1. So it's interesting, man. It's gonna be an interesting year, man, for football. Yeah, man. What else I want to get to? Since I ain't got my partner here, man, I'm trying to go through these topics kind of fast and trying to focus on the things we need to focus on in the sports world before I get to the entertainment world, man. Because if y'all, I don't know if y'all got Peacock or if y'all John Wick fans, but you gotta watch the Continental, man. That series is tough. Like I love the storyline. I love to see how they pin it together. Cause man, when I tell you, I thought John Wick was a problem, man. They got this dude named Franklin, and that's Wilson's the Wilson was the dude that owned the Continental, was the consigliere of the Continental, right? And they going back to his backstory. And man, when I tell you that his brother was like that, you gotta see this, man. You thought John Wick was something. You gotta see his brother. His brother's a problem. So I'm curious to see how this series is gonna play out, man. But you gotta watch the Continental if you got Peacock. It's definitely worth watching. Obviously, I'm still watching Star Wars Ahsoka. She got that thing is starting to get interesting, man. They starting to introduce, as always, the dark side, the villains and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to see where this is going and that whole thing right there. But it's gonna be interesting this year, man, for us TV and everything. But that John Wick, the Continental, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. And getting back, man, I want to get back to this football, man. I'm gonna get right back to this football, man. We got some primary games, man. I kind of just want to go over the games that's going on this week. I want to start off with tonight's game, which was the Packers and Detroit. The Packers are a 2-point favorite of Detroit. In my opinion, and it's over under 45. I think Detroit's a better team. Packers showed me something when they played the Saints, even though the Saints lost their quarterback, which I mean, it wasn't like he was lighting the scoreboard up, but it was a different team. And when you put James Winston in, Mr. Turnover, it just, I mean, he talked good, but his production just doesn't match. He's never matched since he's been in the NFL. His talking, he's the best. He should be a motivational speaker. How much he talk, right? But that being said, I know Jordan Love still has some injuries, and Detroit pretty much, man, got their squad. So for me and the money, man, I'm gonna go with Detroit and over under. It's hard to say. Well, Zaire Alexander's not gonna be playing tonight, so I definitely like him running the ball and throwing it. So just give me Detroit. I like Detroit for the cover. I actually like them for the win. All right. I want to get to our 1 o'clock games. Our first 1 o'clock game is I'm sorry, I have to get to the international game because the Falcons are 3-point underdogs to the Jags, and they're playing over in London at 9:30 this week. We get our first London game. Um, Both of them coming off losses. I thought the Jags loss was more disappointing than Atlanta because Atlanta actually lost to a decent team. The Jags played a terrible game. I don't think you can play any worse than they played. They beat themselves in the book and in the foot. It's hard to call games when I always say turnovers, man. You can't predict turnovers, man. Penalties, and turnovers to kill any team, right? And every time they got to drive together, they shot themselves in the foot, And then Texans always give them problems, but then the boy C.J. Stroud looked good, so maybe it was a whole lot of factors. Maybe they've been sipping the juice too much. Maybe they came into the season believing the hype, and they haven't lived up to the hype yet. So we're going to see how they rebound from a loss, either one of these squads. But for my money, I'm going to go with Jags, I'm going to go with the Jags. I think it's a good cover. I think they'll bounce back over there. 43.5 is the over-under. It's a ground pound game. Defensively, I could see it probably. I could see it just going under. If just going under, I could see 24-20. I think it might be a little lighter than that. 24-20. One game because Jacksonville ain't that bad against the run. Every time they play over there, it always goes over though. Now let me get the under. I'm gonna stick with the under with that one. All right. Our first 1 o'clock game is oh my god. If Gil was here, he'd be definitely pitting down this team, man, Chicago. Because they just man, it's a hot mess, man. It's a hot mess out there, Chicago, man. It is terrible in Chicago, man. They have no idea. They don't know what they're doing, man. It's going to be a lot of heads rolling before this season's up. I was looking forward for Justin the Fields to have a breakout season this year. It's not happening. I don't know if he's to blame. I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator to blame. The head coach definitely got to be to blame. Their defense coordinator quit on them. So it's just a year of them quitting already. It's three games in, and we talking about them quitting, man. And then they going against the Broncos, who I don't know, man. You got just two bad teams playing each other, man. You got two terrible teams playing each other. It's the Broncos are 3.5 point favorites, which I don't think no team should be a 3.5 point favorite that bad. But that being said, I just think that the Bears, man, it just I don't know, man. I can't rock with the Bears, man. So I'll shoot the dice for Broncos, man. And after giving up 70, man, you gotta come out with some type of effort. So just give me the Broncos and the over is 46. Give me the over 46 for that game. Moving on to the Miami Dolphins is going to play the Buffalo Bills, and the Dolphins is getting 2.5 points. Man, the Bills playing great football right now. I mean, they play the Commanders, and who else did they just beat up there in the Raiders? So it's kind of hard to gauge. They play two bums. And I thought that Miami has been in tougher games. They just beat the Broncos, which I mean they bums. But the Chargers wasn't a bad game. They did beat up on the Chargers. And who was the other road game that they ended up beating up on Miami? Was that it? Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, Miami. Yeah. Trying to think where they played this second game and they won. Wasn't I'm sorry, they beat the Patriots. They sure did. They beat the Patriots in Gillette. Good game. Better opponent. It's rough going to Buffalo and playing, but with Tua as your quarterback, man, it's hard to go against Tua, man, especially playing right now. And he's getting 2.5 points with that offense, the way it's rolling. I know, but and then Buffalo has a tendency to turn the ball over. even though both secondaries is getting scorched, man, it's gonna go touchdown for touchdown. So I'm gonna take the Dolphins, man. Give me the Dolphins with them points, man. I'm getting 2.5 and a 53.5 point favorite, and give me the over. I see points being put up on the board, man. I mean, it's hard to take a under when teams is going when both squads putting up 30 plus points. So yeah, give me the over in that game. Now you got the Ravens, who just came off a disappointing loss to the Colts, and they got to play the Browns, who just came off a great win against against Tennessee, which you supposed to beat Tennessee. The over under is 40.5. The Ravens have a lot of injuries, man. If they get half their squad back, it'll probably be a game, but it's hard because they're going against probably one of the best run defenses in the league right now. So for me, in the way that the Browns are playing, I think they showing starting to get into his rhythm. Man, I'm liking the Browns at home until you beat them. I like the Browns at home, so I'll take the Browns. I still think it's going to be either a push game with that three. It's gonna be hard to score against the Browns, man. So give me the Browns and give me the under. Yeah. Our next game is the Steelers, 3 point favorites against the Texans. That's an interesting game to me, y'all. Very interesting game. Because the Texans is starting to get comfortable. I think Stroud is starting to get comfortable. I think his confidence is getting there. He has not turned the ball over. I know that it's a different type of pressure he's going to be under, but he's been under pressure since he's been playing these games. Every game he's been under pressure. So the Steelers and Texans, it's hard because the Texans, I can see the Steelers running the ball, and I can see him trying to do some things. But give me this will be a disappointing game if the Steelers lose this game, but give me the Steelers, man, beating the Texans at home. I still think the Texans is, I think Steelers is a better team, and I still think the Texans got some more years before they get it where they at. They're trending in the right way. I just think that one, they just had Jacksonville's number. You know what I mean? That's just a team that they just seen to match up well against. And I think the Steelers is going to come in, man, play that Steelers type of football. And I like the coach is a better coach than me. Not saying D'Amico Ryans isn't a good coach at this point, though. He got to get proven as a head coach. So for me, give me the Steelers with that 3 and the 42.5. I see a ground-out game, but give me the over in that game, 42.5. It's hard to go under with the Texans. Our next game is the Vikings, 4 point favorite against the Panthers, and they're saying that Bryce Young is going to play this game, which I thought they had a better shot of winning the game if they had Andy Dalton in the game. But the Vikings is just a disappointment, man. So they already talking about trading Kirk Cousins. Justin's. You got Justin Jefferson, who was the second best player in the NFL, but I mean, it's hard for him to do anything when your quarterback. I can't pin it on Kirk Cousins. He's a pass stuffer. I mean, he's going for over 300 plus yards all these games. Just that he just can't seal it with a win. The Panthers, like I said before, you had the second pick, so that's telling you that you just got to build this program. So it might be a rough year for the Panthers. Man, they both undefeated. They both don't have the win yet. It's hard to take the Vikings just with man, it's just crazy, man. That's me. Give me the Panthers, man, for the points, man. I'll just take the Panthers for the points because I can't trust the Vikings with any points, man, because they'll make any game close at this point. All right. Our next game is the Rams playing the Colts. All right. Both coming off losses. Anthony Richardson will be back. I like the Colts at home. I think the Rams have a squad too. You can't count out Stafford, but I like what the Colts is doing out there, man. I really do. But this game reminds me of them Rams playing the Seahawks, man, kind of how they built. So I actually like the Rams in this game. I think the Rams actually beat the Colts, man, in this game. So I'm going to take the Rams in this game. Even though the Colts came off a great win against Baltimore. Baltimore is banged up, man. So I'm not going to get fooled by that. And the Rams, I believe, have more skilled players that can make damage, to do some damage on the outside on corners. So yeah, just give me the Rams for this one. And 46, I think they'll go over the point spread. So give me the Rams and over. You got the Bucks as a 3 point underdog to the Saints in New Orleans, 39.5 point favorites. I like the under in this game, and the Bucks and Saints with James Winston as your quarterback, man. I'm taking the Bucks. I have no faith in James Winston as a quarterback. Never had, never will. So give me the Bucks. Even though the Saints are home, give me the Bucks. Our next game is the Commanders are 8-point underdog to the Eagles. 43.5 point spread. It's hard to take the Commanders against the Eagles, man. The Eagles is just one of the top teams in the NFL. I know that the Commanders normally play them tough. I know the front four is mean. I know they could probably bring pressure to Jalen Hurts, but then that team and that offensive line is crazy, man. So give me the Eagles with the spread, and actually give me the under. I actually like the under in this game. It's a division rival. Give me the under. And our last game of the 1 o'clock games is the Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals, is 2-point favorites over the Titans. It's always a grind out game when these two people play, man. But I like Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's gonna start getting in their rhythm. I think that win last week against the Rams, man, was the start of them getting in their rhythm and Joe Burrow getting his rhythm. So give me them at 41 point underdog, 41 over under. It's hard for Tannehill on the boards to score, man, in my opinion. So give me the under in this game. Give me the Bengals in the under. And now we're going on to our 4 o'clock afternoon games. And our first one is the terrible Las Vegas Raiders, 5.5 point underdogs to the Chargers. And the 40.5 point spread. I can't mess with nothing with the Raiders, man. For real. They are who they are, man. They don't play no defense. They got a great running back. They got some receivers out there. Even though the Chargers did lose Mike Williams for the season, it's going to be interesting with him losing Mike Williams because that means a lot of the load got to go to Keenan Allen. And then their defense have not stepped up to the plate at all, have not played to the level they should be playing at. So for that, give me the points with the Raiders, man. Crazy it may sound, I'm going to take the points with the Raiders, man. And you got to take an over, man, in that game. 48.5, it's going to be points pit up. So give me the over. Our next game is the Patriots, 6.5 point underdogs. So my boys, the Cowboys at home. And this will be a game we'll bounce back and play a tougher game. This will be a game. Zeke is coming back to the stadium. I just think that now that we will be focused, I like us 46.5. I think we'll probably beat them by 7. And over under at 43, a defensive type of game. Give me the under for the 43. So I like my boys winning by a touchdown. And the last game for the 4 o'clock games is the Cardinals are 14-point underdogs to the 49ers. And the over under is 44. I know the Niners are who they are, but man, you're talking about 14 points, man. 14 points is just a lot of points for me to just say I'm gonna take the 49ers because anything can happen. Anything can happen. I like Brock Purdy. I like the way the Cardinals are actually playing, man. They're actually playing strong football. They're not tanking. It's a lot that the 49ers are going to throw at you. They got the best offensive line. They got a hell of a defensive line. They got, too many holes in them. They got receivers. They got a hell of a team, man. I think they could bring pressure to Dobbs. But 14 is a lot. 14 is a lot, man. But it's the Cardinals. And this might be the true test when the Cardinals is going against the top defense in the league. But I'm saying, man, I'll take the 14. I'm not too sold on the 14, but I'll shoot the dice with the 14, man. And if they do get beat by more than 14, then you gotta take the under because they'll probably get beat like 30-10 or something like that. If we talking about 14 points. Or they might get blanked. Who knows? Might be a 30-0 game. And then our 8 o'clock game is the Chiefs at 9.5 against the Jets. Long as Zach Wilson is the Jets quarterback, you gotta love the Chiefs. 9.5. You'd be crazy to take the Jets, even with that defense, because Zach Wilson won't be able to pick no points from the board. You're gonna have to outscore Chiefs Mahomes in order to stop them. If you think that you're gonna stop them from scoring, yeah, the Jets could probably put some pressure on them, but it's Mahomes. He's the best player in the NFL, man. And you're talking about Zach Wilson, who has to put drives together, who has to put points on the board. Because if you do threes and outs or you don't get no drives, that means your defense is going to get tired, which in the later rounds, now the Chiefs is going to wear down on you. So you got to take the 9.5, man. You got to take the 9.5. And the last game, man, is the Seahawks the Monday night game rather, the Seahawks and the Giants, which is an even spread. Um, it's weird that that's an even game when Seahawks been playing better football. So it makes me wonder why is it even. When I see spreads like that, man, I might just take Giants because of just the spread. It just don't sound right. The Seahawks have a better record and been playing better football, but yet it's an even spread game. Give me the Giants, man. Just give me the Giants. 47.5. Just give me the over. Giants is home. And that's basically telling me that you're thinking that they're equal. So that being said, give me the over. All right. And I know it was a quick one tonight, y'all, man. Like I said before, I wanted to go ahead and just elaborate on a couple of things. Our next podcast, which will be definitely next week. I have my partner in crime, which will be Gil, and we'll definitely, man, make it more in detailed, and I'll be able to go over a lot more subject matter with y'all. I just want to kind of get through the subject matter tonight, kind of give y'all a brief run through everything I'm thinking about personally. It's getting late on me. I'm sorry, y'all. Was kind of tired, exhausted, mentally exhausted today, man. Been one of them days, but I apologize for that. But we'll be back next week. I promise you, full of energy. It'll be a great show. My partner will be back. We'll elaborate on his week away with his new wife and all the fun things he done. And we'll see what's going to happen this weekend with these games. Hockey's starting to get back. I mean, it's a beautiful time, man. NBA will be coming back soon, so this is the best time for sports, man. Fall. We get ready for the fall, man. Fall classes will be here, so I'm just looking forward for the rest of the year for these sports. And I will check y'all next week, man. Thank y'all for checking me out tonight, man. This is your man Larry, and I'm out.